I was hyped up for a game tonight, a series.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to watch the Celtics get back to work. I thought the Cavs would be a challenge. I've watched Donovan Mitchell now for about 2 weeks straight, really being the leader of that team. And ho hum, 40 points in the first quarter. You didn't get much from the Stars tonight, but they shot 27% from three at halftime, and we're still up 10 points and went on to win the game by 25 tonight. So I say snoozer because, well, in reality, that's why they were the number one seed, why they're the best team in the league, and this is the opponent you get off a 7-game series.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you put together a team with this much talent on both ends of the floor, and when they're locked in and engaged in playing hard for a full 48 minutes. This is the results. This is the results we've seen all season from this team. I think every team they faced, except outside of Denver, caught an L like this. I mean, it's just this is what happens. And if they really have it going, which they really didn't tonight, but when they're close to themselves, this is what happens. You get blown out. And I've said many times before, they're good enough now to withstand an okay night from Jason Tatum. They can, like you said, shoot 20-something% in the half from three and still hold the lead. I was yelling at the TV when they were up 15, like they were down 15. But this is who they are. This is who they've been all season. And for those just catching on, I don't know where you've been, but this is what you expect from this team.
So the one thing I like about the playoffs, Cerrone, is I'm one game at a time. Like
Yes.
I that's how I roll. Especially doing you were here last year. It's one game. And you know how I'm telling you I'm tired because it was a snooze fest? I was really hyped up, man. And they're just better than the Cavs. I tried to respect the Cavs. I think they do as well. So this is what I mean about the next game now. They've won tonight. They look great.
Yep.
But I hope they don't snooze now because they think they can just show up and beat Cleveland. So I expected a little bit more tonight, but Cleveland is what they were, a team off a 7-game series, tired, and got beat on the road by 25 points.
Yeah. And the thing for them, they're in the same position the Celtics were last season, whereas you shouldn't have went that far in the first round to begin with. So now you're stuck in this every other night, thing where you can't get out of it. You can't get rest. You can't get healthy. They would love to get Allen back, but they're right back at it in 2 days. So when they talk about he can't even raise his arms up. So they're in a tough spot where they never can really recover. Whereas the Celtics, with a big lead, it was able to sit some guys a little bit in the fourth, take some guys out, bring some guys in. Guys got a little burn. They were after coming off a good rest. But you go into it the next game thinking, okay, maybe Jaylen Brown won't shoot 75% from the floor. Maybe Derek White cools off a little bit. And maybe Garland gets it going and these other guys get going. But it's a lot of ifs and maybes when you're in this situation. And here's the thing, which I really don't like. All of a sudden now you look up and down social media, the Cavs are trash. They were a trash team. This team didn't belong on the floor with them, whatever. They won like 49 games, and that's with Mitchell missing 30 of them. They still won 49 games. The Dallas Mavericks with Luka and Kyrie won one more game than the Cavs did. The Thunder and the Lakers, they're in the same class as all those teams. But if Mitchell was healthy, this team probably wins 55 games easily if he's there for 25 more games or whatever it was. So they're not a bad team. This is a good team. Orlando was a decent team. These are good defensive teams. But this is what happens when the Celtics play good basketball. They make good teams look bad, and we sit here and question if the other team belongs on the court with them. And I got news for you. If they get out of this, I don't want to look ahead that far, but it could be a similar situation with the Knicks, the Pacers, and anybody really short of Denver and a hot Minnesota team right now. So you got to give the Celtics credit for being that much better than everybody else.
All right, so this is one that just came over that, I'm wondering if the way we should spin it, or at least I might do, but the Celtics won another game, a postseason game, by 20-plus points. It's the fourth time they've done it this postseason, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it tied the franchise record for a single playoff, but they've played 6 games.
Play
So
six.
so they've had really what? One loss where they got completely outplayed and no showed. The rest of them were front running, as I call it, blowouts. And in 6 games, they've won by 20 or more 4 times. Like, to me, that is dominating the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you do. This is we've sat here and others have sat here and said this could be one of the better Celtics teams we've ever seen. And they're smoking teams early in the playoffs. Like you said, they've already got tied the record for most blowouts already, and you've only been playing the playoffs for 2 weeks or whatever it is. But the thing is, they're not the only Celtic team that was a number 1 seed playing against bad 8 seeds. I mean, teams are usually they're playing back at this is play-in. Usually number 1s were playing teams that were winning like 35 games.
Yep.
You know, I mean, this year you play the Heat and you play the Cavs. I'm not sure what the Heat final record was, but the Cavs were, like I said, 48, 49 wins. These are good teams. The 08 team played the Hawks, I think it was. I don't know what their record was, but they was a pretty decent team. They struggled to beat those teams. They didn't have any blowout games except for the one game against the Lakers, but usually number 1 teams are playing bad teams. This ain't the first time in NBA history a 1 seed's playing a bad team. But they're making these teams look so bad that you're questioning the other team and their how they're put together, or you're finding, oh, this guy's hurt, that guy might be banged up, whatever. The Celtics are short an all-star level center right now. They still don't have Porzingis. And it was light work, like we've been saying, barbecue chicken against this Cavs team, who's a good defensive team led by a guy that just dropped 50 a couple days ago. So you got to give the Celtics credit for what they're doing.
We'll get into Derek White and his play coming up, and certainly we'll react to some of the ups and downs on the night. We're here until midnight tonight. We're putting in the work tonight, Cerrone. You know, none of this short post-game stuff. We're dressing it up. We're putting our hard hats on at 617-779-0985. We got some callers, and I've already read a few tweets. So the one thing I'm noticing of late, Cerrone, whether it's Bruins or Celtics talk, like they could win a game 7 in like a tremendous fashion, but people still are like don't believe in the team or they're negative. Like this is what I mean by I'm a 1 game and a guy can't, I want to react to this and then hope they don't sleep in the next game, because I think you're as good as your next game, but I think fans are tortured. I think they're tortured by the results, and I know it is funny, but at the same time, like I think people are like, of course I am. Like, look at this. You know, how many times can you be up in a game 7 or lose in a game 7? So I think it's just whenever something good does happen or it looks so easy, people still have their doubts.
Yeah. And then complain when it doesn't look easy, when it's tight. When every game, if they'd have played the game tonight, everybody would have complained.
Yes.
You know, if they'd have won by 8, they didn't close. They let up.
They should have won by 20.
Right. There was one of the Heat games, they were up 30, and then they cut it to 14, and everybody called us and went off. It's like, yo, what do you want? You want every game to be, you want every series to be Bruins, Maple Leafs? You really want to go through that? Oh. No, you want to be the team that you want to be what the Bruins were last night. Over with. Get it over with early. You can relax, high five. You can go sit down and eat and not pay it. And this is what you want. You don't want these tight games. Tight games lead to guys playing harder. Guys get hurt, banged up. Other teams, it's just, no, you don't want none of that. Blow these teams out. Let them know you're the best team on the floor and move on to the next game. And like you said, you could come out and Garland has it going. Him and Mitchell just are unstoppable. They forcing turnovers. You saw what happened to the Nuggets last night. Turnover 13 times in the first half. Next thing you know, you're down 30. You turn the ball over. Guys could twist an ankle. Guys could just be off. We've seen this from this team before. So, yes, you take it 1 game at a time, and you keep it moving, and you don't take any – I wouldn't take anything from this except for a little strategy on how you play some guys going forward. But other than that, you move on to game 2 and act like you didn't win anything. So, I think they're in good shape. But, again, this Cavs team – they're better than what people are giving them credit for right now, and they can turn it up defensively and have a better night shooting 3. Were they 5 for 30 in the second half shooting threes? that number can change and change the outcome of some games. So, like you said, one game at a time, man.